Hello there. For this video, I wanted to give you a quick tutorial on the wonderful Riverside. Riverside is an amazing tool which I have been using for absolutely ages now in order to record my podcast episodes. And I'm just scrolling through at the moment the show of my studio, which I don't know why, but they always insist on having the most unattractive stills for the cover images of my episodes. I mean, out of every still that they could have chosen. So what I'm going to do is just take you through the Riverside tutorial, how to use Riverside. I am currently on the standard plan, and that is something that is just worth remembering, that if you sign up to a plan lower than the standard plan, then you may not be able to get every single one of the features that I am talking about in this particular video. But just to give you an idea, I'm just going to go across to Riverside FM and I'm just going to pull up the pricing for you to see. So there is actually a free version of Riverside. You can get 2 hours of separate audio and video tracks as a one-off there. You can get unlimited single track recording and editing. However, and this is one of the reasons why I've upgraded to standard personally, is because on the free plan, when you export any video, you are limited on the free plan to 720 of video quality. And you are also limited to the fact that you need to have the watermark on exported files. So when you upgrade to the standard plan, not only does my amount of audio and video increase to 5 hours per month, but I also have no watermark on my exported files, and all of a sudden my video quality I can create and export in is at 4K, which is to me just so 100% worth it. So I'm going to go back into my Riverside just so that you can see where I'm at, and that is where I'm going to give you the tutorial. But signing up is so super easy. And by the way, if you needed more than the 5 hours, you can pay $29 per month to go up to 15 hours. They also have some additional features in terms of transcriptions, teleprompters. So if that is something that you want, that could well be an option for you. And there is also then the business section as well for companies, and they are really keen to promote over at Riverside that they've got Netflix, Spotify, TED Talks. I think Disney and Marvel have used this before, but you get my point. There's a lot more things that you can get if you want to upgrade to business. They don't have any pricing on that, but what they are saying that, just contact them and they'll come up with a bespoke price for you, but you can guarantee that it will be more than $29 per month. But that's fair enough, isn't it? So once you have created your account, you will come to your studio here, and I find it just so easy and so intuitive. You can create a new studio by just hitting studio here, type in whatever you want to call it. So, Verity Studio number 2 or whatever. You can decide if your recording type is going to be audio and video or audio only. And then you also check your transcription language, and there are what feels like millions to choose from. So hopefully your language will be supported. I go back to my own studio, then I can either go straight to studio or view the recordings, and then I can also rename my studio in there. So if we want to have a look at the recordings that I've already done, I just hit recordings. This is the page that I was on before, and then I can go in and I can edit them. But to begin with, I am going to show you how to go to the studio and create a new recording before we look at editing. So I'm going to go across to the studio. I'm typing in my name as the host. I am deciding, oh look, there's a little picture of me because I have got my webcam. I say my webcam, it is my iPhone 14, which I use because I like to get the 4K there. So you're just going to see the side of my face for a minute, which is a little bit strange. You then select whether or not you are using headphones or not, and then Riverside just does its own thing, works out echo cancellation and all sorts, which is great. I can have a play here, so it's hooked up for my iPhone camera, but if I preferred, I could switch across so that it was using the FaceTime camera on my computer there. So hello, just from a different angle. I personally prefer to film using my iPhone, but that's because, as I said, on my iPhone 14, I get 4K definition. I do not get that on my computer, but it's completely up to you. On that note, if you are using your iPhone, it is worth pointing I am using Brave as the web browser. I've got no idea why, but Edge and Google Chrome can have some issues with Riverside when it comes to picking up your iPhone camera. Not all the time. Sometimes the tech works, sometimes it doesn't. But when I had a look online, then Brave is an amazing web browser. This is the only thing I use it for, I have to say. But if you can't get your iPhone to talk to your computer as an external webcam, then Brave might be something that you want to look into. Equally, you can say no camera at all. So I'm going to do what I normally do, which is just select my iPhone camera, and then coming down to the microphone, I can either use my built-in microphone, I can use my the microphone, on my iPhone, or I've got my Blue Yeti, which is here, bless it, and that is already selected, or no microphone. Maybe I'm doing a mime. I don't know. Anyway, I've got those selected, and then I can also select which speakers I'm going to use. If I'm going to plug in headphones into my Yeti, if I'm using my iMac speakers, which I'm perfectly happy with at the moment, or if I'm just going to use the default ones for my phone. Either way, I've selected all of this. I'm not going to go into you as a producer at the moment because I'm just showing you how to use this as a host, as a solo creator for your podcast. So you're then going to click Join Studio, and there you are. That is a very close-up image of me. If you wanted to invite people as a guest or as an audience, then you can do so here. You can either copy the link and just send it across to them, or click Invite by email. That's not normally relevant to me, so I just get rid of that. Now, up here in the corner, you can title your recording. So my first amazing podcast episode, you can save that. As I said, you can invite people in. Removing background noise, this I absolutely love. I think this is an amazing feature to be able to just remove the background noise. It refreshes whenever you toggle that. So I just think that's amazing. If you're in low data mode, then you can select that option as well, toggle for low data mode. And then you can also go for echo cancellation, which is something I do all of the time, just in case, you know how things get picked up on microphones and stuff. So I always go for have that toggled on as well. And then otherwise you are just going to start recording. You can also run a test recording, which I really like that. I think that's really cool. And if you wanted to change any of the options that you selected before, then you can do so down here. You can also set yourself up with a script and share a screen or your screen. You can't actually share a presentation on the standard plan, but if you're upgraded, then that is something you can do. But I'm going to go ahead and just hit start recording. It does me a little 5-second countdown, and then what I can do is I can launch into recording my episode. It's saying here that the actual recording is a higher quality, so if you are a little bit concerned that the quality isn't looking amazing, that is just Riverside's way of ensuring that actually the quality that it's uploading to the internet is way better than what you are potentially going to see on your screen. So you're going to record your podcast episode and then just hit stop. It is uploading. You are not going to exit this screen whilst this is happening. Literally, you saw that though, a couple of seconds, and then you can go over to viewing recordings. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to come over to viewing recordings, and you can see here how it is processing that track. Now I'm actually going to show you what you can do with one that I have recorded previously. So first of all, I'm just going to make sure that I am on mute there on the computer, because what I don't want to do is suddenly start having any sound come out there. So I'm going to go into this particular one, which I created earlier. And you've got a few different things that you can do. First of all, you can download, if you've got multiple participants, they will all come up here. It's just me because I was doing a solo episode, but I can download as high quality, the backup, and then there's also, I can ask for help if needed as well. And the same with the transcript, I can download that straight off there as well. It is worth remembering that you do need to be on a slightly higher plan in order to do that, or you can just download everything if you want to. what we can do here is we've got two sections first off. So magic clips. This is powered by AI. Instantly get clips of the best moments from your recording. I love doing this and seeing what it comes up with. So I'm going to hit generate clips and it will find via AI the best moments that it thinks from my episode. It will create around 5 different clips. It really depends on how long your episodes are. For Lazy Girl's Guide to Podcasting, our episodes only tend to be around the 10-minute mark. So I don't always get 5 different clips from that, but that's quite fair enough. It does take a couple of minutes to run. So I tend to just hit the generate the clips and then I go on and do something else. They've got this new feature in place, which is your full episode, which is with one click, AI will clean up your episode, add captions, and take it ready to share. I haven't actually tried this out before, so I'm going to hit generate episode and I am just going to see what happens and I will give you a little bit of a review on that. Look, you can see that literally took, I don't know, barely any time. And it has come up with these variety of different clips there. And so I can just click on one, lessons from iPod marketing. Let's edit that and see what that comes up with. And this is the text that it has included. And it's added in some captions, which I can move that down as well. But I can play that, review it, see what I think. And by the way, the actual picture will be high quality when you download that. So if I like that, I can then hit export. I can decide on my video quality. Just bear in mind that the higher the quality, the slightly longer it will take to export. So I can hit 4K because that's what I like to do. Normalize the audio levels, remove any background noise. I remove the watermark as well, and then I hit export. Once I have hit export, it will tell me that I will get an email very soon. So I'm now going to go back to the recording page and you'll see that this is exporting and it will soon come up with exported. And from then I can then just hit the 3 little buttons and hit download. But let's say that I want to choose my own clips or I want to edit it as a full episode. So here I am going to just click on it as a large and I'm gonna press edit. And here is my episode. And you can see that I started off talking absolute nonsense. So what I'm gonna do is I'm literally gonna select that and just hit delete and it's gone. That's it. And you can see that there's some extra space here. Don't want that either, so I'm just going to delete it. It is, oh gosh, that's not an attractive still for it to stop on, but it is absolutely incredible. You literally just go through and go, yeah, don't like that, just highlight it, delete it, and it's gone. It's gone from the episode. You press revert if you decide that actually you do want to keep it, or if you want to keep only this, then it will get rid of everything else, and I can make a clip just from that, which I just think is, I just think it's so cool. It really is. So let's just undo that because I still need to edit this properly. You can also go through and you can edit it yourself in terms of pressing split. If you know that from there to there, you don't like it, and then you can delete that way. That is also something that you can do. And the other new feature is this zoom that Riverside have put in, so you can really zoom up and say, hey, there's like a pause there, I want to get rid of that. So I also think that is incredibly cool. You can toggle if you want to see the transcript or not. I prefer to have the transcript because I think it is great for editing. When it comes up here, when you are creating your video, you can choose what size you want the video to be depending on where you're exporting to. So 16:19, that's really good for YouTube. You've got 1:1, for example, an Instagram grid, although 9:16 tends to be what I use for my Instagram instead. So I'm just going to set that back there. I've got some magic tools, remove all silences. It will go through it for me and just remove all silences. I've also got some bits, so if there were more people here, then I can isolate the tracks for just me or just my guest speaker, but as it's only me, there's not that option. I can change the layout here. Again, this is more if I've got more than one person speaking, then they will appear in these different formats. I can change backgrounds. I can add my captions in. This is something which I absolutely love, and they have just upgraded this as well, so I can change the the look of that and make it much more kind of on brand. What I would say though is don't get too carried away with the text. You want something that's just really, really readable, but still on brand. I wouldn't go with something like Courgette or Sharkhand. Personally, you want to keep it as legible as possible, but I like that you've got the opportunity that you can change things and make it on brand, and then you can move those around as well and decide how, where you want them to be. And then you can also include your logo if you want to. So your podcast logo, and you can position it to be wherever you want it to be, which again is great from a branding point of view. Once it is all done, you can export in exactly the same way that we did with the magic clip. And you can also change up here. In fact, I'd really encourage you to change this to something like full episode or final edit or whatever, just so that it looks a little bit cleaner when you're going through your library and you're trying to find your final episode edit. So I'm going to go back from that. You can see that my magic clip is still exporting. That's because I was exporting it in 4K. And as I said, it does take longer to export in 4K than when you have exported using a lower definition. However, I'm going to go into my full episode. This is the one that I ran with the AI, and I'm curious to have a look and see what it came up with. Okay, so it's got rid of, why does it always stop on like the most unattractive images? But anyway, it's taken out the silences, but actually flicking through straight away, I had this bit where I was like, I don't know, I completely mucked up my intro when I was talking it here. So it's kept that in, which obviously I want that gone. It looks like what it's done is just taken out the silences, which is cool. I do like that. However, and again, down here, it's like, how can I phrase that? There's like a thought process going on there. So maybe that's not, it still needs some editing, but at the end of the day, how is AI supposed to know exactly what I do and don't want to be kept in? So I think it's useful. I think particularly if you've got an episode where you know that it's got very little editing for the actual text, you just want to take out the silences. I think that is fab, but probably not for me, who does pause every so often and goes, oh, where was I going with that point, or what am I doing here? So that is that bit there. Coming up here, you can rename, you can copy your recording, you can remove your recording completely, you can share it as well, it'll copy the link, you can export as well, you can export to Adobe Premiere Pro using, with WAV files and markers, and which tracks, as I said, if you've got multiple people talking, you will have multiple tracks there. And then there's also the clip to go to, the button to go to the editor there. So really all in, that is in a nutshell how you use Riverside as a solo podcaster. I absolutely love it. I was using Zencaster previously. However, I do find that even with Zencaster's new features, I do feel like Riverside is just a snip above that. The other thing that I love about Riverside is that they are really working on their upgrades at the moment. With their latest one that they have released, that they've got in the works, is that you can now upload anything that you have created, audio, video, to Riverside, and you can edit it on Riverside. And I really like that because I can then, just create everything and just have everything in one library. So I can do that here by pressing upload, which I just think is absolutely fantastic. So when I've actually finished this particular video, I will be uploading it and editing it in Riverside. And like I said, it's great because then I've just got everything. This is my back catalogue for everything that I have been recording for the Lazy Girl's Guide to Podcasting since July. So it's just nice to have everything there and all in one place. For here, when you're on the main recordings, if you ever want to get rid of something, for example, I don't need that track that I just did, then I can remove it just like that. And that is really nice and easy. And then they delete it. I can't remember how long, but it's got X amount of days, I believe, before you can recover it. You can also have your recordings in a list format. And if we go over to settings, we can change our studio name. We can look at the studio type, whether it's private or public. If you have guests that you record with. You can either have your guests being required to wait in the lobby. That's not something I've got toggled on because I don't tend to interview with guests very often for Lazy Girl's Guide to Podcasting. If you are using live call-ins, then you can, again, choose the layout. You'd need an upgrade if you want full frame though. You can schedule your studio, which is a really, really cool thing to be able to do. You can invite participants. You can invite somebody to come in and host. You can invite a producer. They won't show up on the final recording, but they can appear in the call and they can tune the settings. So if you're working with a production company or a producer, that could be really useful. You can invite a guest in, though they will be recorded. And then the other thing that you can have, which I think is really cool, is audience members. And so this would be very similar to if you were doing a YouTube live, for example. You can have the chat function switched on similar to Zoom, and you can take live Q&A with your audience then, which I think is a very cool feature to have. When it comes to your participant audio recording, you can also decide if you want to record their audio only, pre-toggled on and off, if you're going to remove background noise, and also the audio sample rate. I just have everything set to the highest because I just think, why not? You're paying for it, you might as well use the highest. For participant video recording, I just have it set to advanced quality, as I said, and it's important to remember that even if they look a little bit blurry or grainy during the recording, that is not how the final recording is going to look. But Riverside will naturally just decrease the recording that you can see, so is that it is absolutely perfect when it is final and done. You can change your frame rate. If you want to have higher frame rates, then you do need to upgrade. And then there are also automatic internet backups, so that you've got access to both of those separate tracks. And that's the important thing, is that if you are recording with somebody, and this is why I prefer to use programs that are specifically made for podcasting, such as Zencastr, Riverside, over something like Zoom, because when they are recording, then they give you separate tracks which are backed up to the internet. They're recorded locally as opposed to Zoom, which basically if something cuts out on Zoom, then it's all gone, whereas you don't get that with these. And quality's better. In fact, you know what? I've done a whole other thing about why you shouldn't use Zoom for your podcast recording, so I'll just link that in. Transcription language, as I said, you can edit that. Recording start, you can actually turn off the countdown timer. I just quite like it. Automatically start recording as soon as the guest joins the studio with no need to hit record. You can do that as well. I prefer not to when I'm interviewing people. I prefer to have a little conversation first, just to kind of break the ice and make sure everyone's comfortable with the conversation before we dive in, particularly if you haven't recorded with somebody before. They can help settle nerves. You can sort out your audience count here. And then this is the other really cool feature that I like, is that you can actually set this up so that you are streaming to different locations. So you can stream to YouTube, you can set it up to stream to Twitter as well, to Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, and anywhere else that you've got an RTMP address. I think that is so cool, because then you don't have to have so many different things open. You could actually be recording an episode in Riverside and you can be live streaming it to YouTube at the same time, for example, or to Twitter or wherever else. I think that is a hugely amazing feature. You can have your studio logo dropped in there. You can see that I haven't at the moment. Advanced, you can have data usage, which you can play around with. You can also integrate with Dropbox so that everything is saved to Dropbox. That's not something I do. I use Google Drive. It's not an integration that's native, but I've got everything else set up on Google Drive, so it just works for me. And worst case scenario, you want to get rid of it and you just get rid of your studio. That is my introduction to Riverside. I really hope that you have enjoyed this. If you want to have a go with Riverside for free, then you can use the link in the description box below. If you want any other tutorials on how to use Riverside, then do give me a shout, because I would love to answer any other questions that you have on Riverside, or give you an oversight tutorial or my own opinion on any other features that Riverside has got. Otherwise, I will see you soon.